Pushing Back the Sky. This is a folk tale that is told all over the world, from China to Canada to Africa. Once upon a time, the world was very different from what it is today. The sky was dark and heavy and very low, and almost touching the earth. Because the sky was so low, people had to walk around bending over, and if they stood up, they'd bump their heads. After some time, the people began to argue about small things, and they became angry at one another. They began to fight, pushing and shoving each other. There was this little girl who saw people arguing and fighting. She knew that this was not right, but because the sky was pressing down upon her people, it made them cross and very tired, and so they fought and argued. That was all they did. One day, as she was busy sweeping, she felt so angry and tired of being bent over that she stood up straight and took her broom and hit the sky as hard as she could. To her surprise, she felt the sky move up a tiny bit. She realized that if the people of the village would also come together and help, they could push it some more. So she called the people out of their houses and told them her plan. They were grumpy and told her, "Nah, that won't work." She pleaded with them to try, so they all began to hit the sky. They all felt the sky move up a little bit. She was a smart little girl. She explained that if they invite all the other people in their region to come to their village, and if everyone worked together, they could push the sky up and out of the way. They could push it back to where it belongs. And the people agreed with her. They invited all the other people to come to their village. And so, 100 of people came to their village and were told the plan of how they could push the sky upwards. They all agreed it was a great idea. And so, they started shouting and yelling and hitting the sky with brooms, spades, and sticks. But when they tried to push it out of the way, it was chaos. Some pushed it this way and some pushed it that way. They all had a big problem. Everyone spoke a different language, and each had a different word for push. How would they know when to push together? And so the little girl picked up her broom and she began to dance. She started singing and dancing with joy. She sang, "One, two, three, Harambe," which meant let's work together. And as she was singing the Harambe song, she hit the clouds with her broom. Soon everyone followed her lead, singing one, two, three, Harambe. They began to dance, and as they worked, the music rose and was felt, and others joined in. They were stunned to see that the clouds were rising, and so slowly, above the courtyards, above their houses. It was hard to read the clouds, and so they climbed the trees and the sky and the hills and into the mountains, teaching each and every one the song as they went along. And this is why the sky is high as it is today and beautiful and blue. One, two, three, Harambe. One, two, three, Harambe. One, two, three, Harambe. This went on for ages, it seemed. But the next generation forgot the song because the sky was high and beautiful. They forgot that people who went before them, the people who spent so much time bending over, they were the ones who lifted the sky. And now our sky is becoming heavy again, heavy with carbon pollution, carbon from burning coals and using petrols. What do you think can we do? Which song can we sing? This little light of mine, I'm gonna turn it off, turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. When it's bedtime, I'm gonna turn it off. When it's bedtime, I'm gonna turn it off, turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. Leave my light a burning, no, I'm gonna turn it off. Leave it a burning, no, I'm gonna turn it off. Leave my light a burning, no, I'm gonna turn it off. Turn it off, turn it off, turn it off.